the blue, you stay with me, but the gentle, you will be the pink group. So on the right, you have Alsace Canal, where you can see your boat. On the left, you have the locks. I think you're at the end of your cruise. You've been through many locks, which are boat elevators to make navigation easier. And the system of the lock, which is the system of communicated vases, was invented by Leonardo da Vinci. On the right, there's an electric plant. Each time there's a lock, due to the waterfall, it's used for production of electricity. There are 8 or 9 locks between France and Germany, and each time an electric plant, and the electricity is divided between both countries. So on the left, you can see mountains. There's the Black Forest. The name was given by the Romans. They were so surprised to see those dark fir trees coming from Italy. That's they named it the Black Forest, and the name stayed. And in front you have other mountains, which are the Vosges. The name was given by the Celts. Vosges was the old name of this mountain, which was the name of a Celtic lord. He was the lord of forests and wars. So you see we're kind of in between those two mountains, which are separated about 50 miles. Here, I want just to know where you come from, which countries. US mainly, or other countries? Mexico. Wow, yes, welcome. Other countries, yeah? No? So that's pretty good. So welcome, everyone. Good. I'm going to sit down and I'll be with you in a minute.
Look at that. I wonder what that is.
Over here on this side.
Look at that.
So from the parking place, or the bus parking, till the town center, it takes about 10 little minutes walk. And when we get there downtown, that'll be the place where we will meet at the end of your free time, or after your free time, at 12:15. I gave you some maps, and I can show you where is the meeting place on the map, but it'll be where we'll start the tour, and where you have also free restrooms if you need. And over there's a nice museum, which is an old convent with a beautiful Gothic cloister. Maybe you'd like to visit this museum, which shelters a very important art piece here called the Eisenheim altarpiece. It's the biggest altarpiece, which was realized at the beginning of the 1500s, the biggest for the size and number of shutters, and it was realized by Grunewald, so beginning of the 16th century. So it's pretty famous. If you like art, don't miss this museum, which is specialized in medieval till Renaissance art. There's also a modern section with some Picasso paintings, and there's a Monet, a Rodin, so famous names in this museum. But just before I continue, have a look on your right-hand side. We're passing by the town of Neuf-Brisach in Germany, just across the river. There's Brisach, or Old Brisach, but this one is Neuf-Brisach. And look at the fortifications, those double large moat. The last one was full of water before they created Alsace Canal, and aquifer was much higher, would fill up the last moat. But you can see those points, that was for the defense, their counter, what we call escarpe. So defending system here, and this town was classified World Heritage because it's a masterpiece of a famous French architect. His name is Vauban, Vauban, and if you look at this town, it looks like a perfect star shape. It took 4 years to build, with 3,000 employers at the very end of the 1600s, and it was under the French King Louis XIV, the Sun King. So he built this town in the middle of nowhere, as you can see, because he was afraid that the Habsburg would recuperate the south of Alsace. You have to know that after the 30-year war, maybe yesterday my colleagues told you about this terrible war, which was the most horrible one, as horrible as First and Second World Wars together. 2/3 of the population here were killed. Some villages never rebuilt. So it's just a big mess. And after that, this area in North Central Europe was very weak. And it was kind of easy for the French kingdom just to swallow the Habsburg possession. Colmar, for 4 centuries, belonged to the Habsburg and all this area too, and also the Breisgau with Brisach till Freiburg was belonged to the Habsburg before, then it was taken by Louis XIV at the very end of the 1600s. But then the Habsburg kicked out the French on the other side of the Rhine, and Brisach, which was an important strategical town, was just on the Rhine there, was the seat of the administration of the area too. So in compensation, Louis XIV asked his architect to build this new town that he then New Brisach, because he was afraid that the Habsburg would like to recuperate the south of Alsace. But they never did. They were too tired after this 30-year war, and before that they have been fighting against the Ottomans for about 2 centuries, so they kind of abandoned the south of Alsace to France. And this is how already before Strasbourg in 1648 we are French, and for 2 centuries and a half about, till the Franco-Prussian War with Bismarck and Napoleon III, that will lose Alsace-Lorraine. By the way, Lorraine is just on the other side or across the mountains you see in front of you. Now the only thing we have in common with Lorraine is the quiche. But we had a common history from this war till the end of the Second World War. And now we say Alsace or Lorraine. We don't say anymore Alsace-Lorraine, as it was a long time ago. And after this Franco-Prussian War, became Prussians German until the end of the First World War, then French. You know that 1939 we are hit by Hitler Reich, and this difficult time for the population here, until was one of the last French town liberated in February 45 and with no destruction. So Colmar is all genuine, was never shelled by any war, which is kind of rare, because there was even the famous Battle of the Pocket of Colmar. You may have heard about this battle. But second time when especially Americans came in this area to liberate it, the second time they came to liberate Colmar, the Germans were just gone, no need to destroy Colmar, and they knew that Colmar was a really nice town, and it was the end of the war too. But Colmar has a great charm because it belonged to the Habsburg, so very different compared to Strasbourg, which is a big city, 500,000 inhabitants. Colmar 70,000, and Strasbourg was a city market and was a free town with coin money, had many privileges, which wasn't really the case of Colmar, which kind of stayed more intimate, I would say. So I'll show you the old Dominicans convent, which shelters this nice museum. Then we will continue the tour by the House of the Heads, a very elegant house in a Renaissance style. Then we will pass by the Dominicans church, but the former friars. And this church shelters nice called the Madonna. Continue by the cathedral that we will see from the outside, and the beautiful cathedral square, which was renewed a few years ago. Then we'll pass by the ancient headquarters, Pfister's house. We'll go down the former Traders Street, till the toll house where they used to pay taxes on their merchandise. Then the Schwendis. And then for those who would like to continue, I will show you the fishermen's district with the colorful houses, and you can then continue on your own till the little Venice. I'll show you where it is. But it's a beautiful day. I'm happy for you. Did you have nice weather during your cruise? Was okay? Yeah. We're kind of lucky,
The mountains, distant.
So about the formation of this, those two mountains, Black Forest in our back and the Vosges in front. Many years ago, about 60 million years ago, they were just one big mountain, much higher than they are today. And when the Alps kind of came, they shook this very old mountain, which is Hercynian, and the middle of it cracked in half and created the Rhine fault or the Rhine Valley where we are now. Those mountains for the geology are similar to the Appalachians, but the Appalachians are a bit higher and have beautiful trees in autumn, the beautiful maple and oak trees that we don't have, unfortunately. But it's nice for hiking here, skiing too. We have a few family resorts, but if we want to do good skiing, we would go to the nearest ski resorts are about 2 hours away from here, like Heidelberg. Heidelberg is another nice town that you visited. And here at agricultural land, as you can see, all this is corn. We plant corn in an intense way because corn is a very thirsty plant. One grain of corn requires 1 quart of water. And the water comes from underneath. We have one of the biggest aquifers of Europe. So the corn can pump directly if the aquifer is higher. Otherwise, it's irrigated, but it drinks a lot of our water. And some years, maybe the last years, we had enough water, but before that, we had 10 years of drought, so our aquifer was shrinking. And the problem is we drink this water. It's a nice drinking water. So we were getting a bit worried because and we continue to plant. A big part of this corn goes for 70% to make syrup, and a part for ethanol, and for the animals too. But you see, most of it is for syrup. And we have all this corn, and we're not corn cob eaters in France. What a pity. Corn comes out of a can. Some farmers make sweet corn, but it's something rare that they would sell on the markets. And it would cost about €1 just for 1 year. But right, there was just an old town called Orbouvir, which was a Roman location. The Romans didn't settle in Colmar because it was a marshy, woody area, but along the Ill River, just like in Strasbourg, and this river was kind of a natural road to go down to Strasbourg. But this was a very little Roman camp, and Colmar was really found in the 8th century by a lord. He built a little castle, modest, and next to it there was a dovecoop. And dovecoop in Latin is columbarium, and this name became Colmar in the 9th century. That's where the name comes from. And Colmar really became a town in the 1200s under a great emperor. His name was Frederick II. You may have heard about Frederick I, named Barbarossa. They were great emperors in the 1200s. And Frederick II rose Colmar at a city level, gave privileges, and built the walls. We still can see a bit of everything. Some cabbage eaters, as you can see on the left, but the big cabbage fields, sauerkraut, because we're big sauerkraut eaters, would be more in the center of the region. Now it's the season of sauerkraut because it's freshly grated. Was picked up in autumn, and they pick up cabbage to make sauerkraut till Christmas, December. We like to eat now because it's not too acid. We also grow sugar beets. We have a big sugar factory also in the center of Alsace. And otherwise, at springtime, we have wonderful asparagus, but only the white kind that you have to peel, and we boil it for 10 minutes in salted water. And we eat asparagus with different dressings and hams, a ham and a smoked one, and our special muscat. Our muscat is not sweet compared to the southern ones. It's dry and fruity and magical with asparagus. Many people do come here at the asparagus season. When they start normally beginning April, sometimes a little earlier, and till mid-June. Now we got kind of going around on this motorway, which goes to Strasbourg, then to Paris. Our motorways, if you come from the States, are very tiny for you, but everything is so shrinked. Our cars, our houses, our trucks. But the problem with we don't have much space to have bigger ones. So as a matter of fact, if you continue this motorway, you would be in Paris in more than 5 hours. It's a pretty long car. And if you back, you take this the motorway on the other side, you would cross Switzerland, the Gotthard tunnel or pass, and you would be in Italy. From here, you are in Milano in 4 hours. It's shorter to go to Italy than to get to Paris. But if we go to Paris, we take the train, of course. We have a fast train, and what you're going to do in Paris with a car, Parisians drive like mad. So if you're still alive after a tour in Paris, you're lucky. Very soon we'll arrive in Colmar. Here we arrive in the industrial section of the town, and one of the biggest plants is Liber. You can see here they have kitchen supplies, but they made excavators and cranes. They're similar to Caterpillar. On the left you have the military cemetery of Second World War, which is French. You can see many Muslim graves because many Africans fought here. They had no choice to fight in the army, because we had colonies in Africa at that time, and many of them died of cold conditions. They were not used to this cold winter 44, 45. And then you have the cemetery. They're full of flowers now, full of chrysanthemums. They're nice to visit, but they have big stones and they're a bit complicated. And the Colmar has a small industry and no chemical. Those would be in Basel and in Mulhouse, which is south and is the second biggest city after Strasbourg, about 220,000 inhabitants. So if you like to take your headsets, I've set mine on 3 according to the sign, and according
3.